Welcome back to the show. Ronnie Blakey here with Peter Mel. Heat 4 about to hit the lineup. Julian Wilson up against Joan Duru and Ian Gouveia. A stacked heat. And Julian Wilson, we're interested to see how he performs. Injured himself doing some cross-training in late January. Ruptured his AC joint in his shoulder. So let's see how he fares. His preparation wouldn't have been fantastic for this contest, Pete, but even Julian Wilson at 50%, it is going to be dangerous in the draw. Look over at the end of the year, hit 30. This is his 8th year on the championship tour. Well positioned out there at the moment. And he swings for this one, tucks into the barrel. And that is a solid pit. Clean exit, out onto the open face. Throws everything at the roundhouse cutback, so really completing that turn and getting right back into the bowl.
Do we know which arm it is?
Drifting the fins. I believe it's his right arm.
So that would have been the arm dragging, right?
A very eventful off-season for him. We'll go into that in a moment, but Pete, take us through the replay.
And look at this, all set up from behind it. Now, he didn't stall too long, just making sure that he was going to get that nice, clean in and out. And then there, just the mistake, trying to put a little extra on the cutback, and you get back into that critical section. He's doing the roundhouse, which doesn't score super high, but if you get that last section, but beautiful read there, comes in and out of that section, no worries. And then this, the roundhouse. All the way around, holds that rail, and then gets the critical section and tries to punch the fins out in the back. The back foot turn goes down, unfortunately. I mean, if he comes around with that one, you see that number go, upwards, probably in the good range, but now going to be sitting in that fair range there. But definitely nice read, got the nice tube.
So it should still be a pretty decent number. The tube rides have been pretty well rewarded. They're nice and deep this morning, so I don't think it'll go into the excellent range, but it'll be up there at the start of that ride. So we're still waiting on those numbers to come through. It actually dropped in at a 3.17.
Wow.
So not a big score. The judges super critical.
I think there's a lot of it was the fact that there was something left on the table there. He could have been a little deeper.
And that's going to be a challenge for Julian too. We know with the sweep here at Snapper Rocks, holding position behind that rock and being in the exact right moment when those waves do stand up and barrel is going to be difficult if you're struggling with a shoulder injury.
Well, especially if it's causing you pain every time you lift your arm. You've got Pratamo, who has been under the tutelage, obviously, now with the panel. And you wonder, as a head judge, do you come in and try and shake things up a little bit in regards to the scoring, and be interesting. We get to kind of follow how this first round goes unfolds.
Joan Duru, impressive as a rookie last season, and now trying to show us what he can do in his second year on the championship tour. In the first round of this event last year, he was one of the highest scoring surfers in a heat that he didn't win. So, he's definitely capable of some big numbers here at Snapper Rocks, but that one, it's not going to be a super big score.
Just performance-wise, you would have said no problem, but it did come to he had to wait it out and had to sit. As we watch this replay here, again, he's on the backhand, so he's going to have a little different approach with those heel edge bottom turns. This wave just didn't give him that ability to have that combination of major maneuvers there. He's very strong on his backhand as well as his forehand. Incredible tube rider.
Trend has been really thrown off, though, here in the last 4 years. 3 of the last 4 champions have had their back to the wall here at Snapper Rocks. The Goofy Footers, really a resurgence in their performances here, Pete. Do you think it's just a trend in the judging, or do you think the Goofy Footers are actually stepping up? 3 events of the season, but at the end of the year, he was just really looking at the positives, and he got a victory at an event that he's wanted to win for a long time, and come close before down at Bells Beach. Just a really strong performance there, but he also got himself a perfect heat at his beloved Jeffreys Bay, and that's just the 9th time in the history of the 2-wave era, Pete, that we've seen throughout the year of avoiding those round 2 losses. He had a couple, as we see Julian Wilson deep in the barrel. He can't find his way through that one, but promising signs with that swell starting to fill in. And Joan Duru down the line, just that one steep section, and he made the most of it, driving his board up vertically. So a super critical turn. He'll be hoping for some extras down the line. Even with that one move, that major turn, you'd expect that he'll get a pretty decent reward. Chatting with our new head judge, Pratamo, this morning, he said major moves are obviously high on the radar for the panel.
Exactly what, obviously he would have thought and reflected on the score of the 317 and said, oh, I got to get way deeper. So he went for it, but just too deep. And that maneuver there from Joan Duru, picking up the kind of tail end of it, It was a beautiful one maneuver, you know, and again, we'll see where the judges put this in the scale of things, because not much happening after that. This wave flattened out a lot. No real major sections there. He just kind of taps his way through that inside portion of the bank. Again, just stays with it because maybe he finds a steep section, but also getting that ride back out. So important.
To see jaw-dropping turns in order to post massive scores for individual maneuvers, but that was definitely a solid hit. So we'll see where it factors in. And Gouveia just making his way down the line here. Tricky conditions. Still a lot of south in the swell angle at the moment, so it's not really bending in here onto the sandbar. It's kind of pushing out to sea a little bit.
Surf on hand a bit. I think the positive signs about today is that we got a low tide coming up, and it's around, what is it, lows at 11:21 a.m. this morning. So we still got the tide dropping out, and that should help a lot. Watch the replay here of Ian Gouveia. Again, a lot of these surfers sticking with it, and there's a couple reasons for that, hoping that they can find another steep section on the Little Marley area of the bank, which happens here. I guess with that lower tide, we'll start to see that happen a bit more, but also they got to get to the skis. I mean, they can't ask for the ski ride midway out. You have to get all the way down into that inside section in order to get the ride out. And with the sweep, we still have that subtly sweep. It was a question mark, but here he is competing, and I love the resilience.
And he's up at the moment. So Wilson driving down the line, the 29-year-old. Looking to get himself out of third spot, up into the lead, chasing a 4.53 to do so. Surfed that amazing final with Felipe Toledo here a few years back now. So has had some success on the Gold Coast. Has won some big exchanges as he checks the clock. Just over 13 and a half minutes remaining.
Very comfortable and knows exactly what he wants to do. As we watch also a replay in the same set, a nice arc from Ian Gouveia on the backhand. Can he hang on to that? No, he can't, but that definitely would have been Ian's best wave had he pulled off that last maneuver.
10 and a half minutes ago, something was going on out the back, Pete.
Yeah, it sure was. You can hear the reaction from the surfer's deck. And it seems like Julian Wilson probably put a little two-turn combo on that outside section. Again, riding through all the way to the Little Marley section because you can get that ski ride right back out there. It's much faster. And also, I think the biggest advantage is the fact of where it positions you on top of the point.
For someone like Julian, you'd think that a world title hedges on capitalising at events you can be strong at. And the Gold Coast is certainly one of those contests for him.
Well, there you go. That's the oohs and ahs. And the second section again, big carve. And look at, he is a spot. This is a spot that you would have to say his chances are very high. He comes from just up the coast there, so this would be quote unquote one of the closest events that he has to home, and a lot of experience, a lot of heat surfed at Snapper Rocks.
So about to see the best number of this heat drop, and Julian keeping busy and tucks into the barrel once again. So starting to feel it out here in the first round. Nice swoop off the top there.
That was a beautiful maneuver.
And this wave just fading. And Julian's going to try and stick with it and get down to the bus stop at the end of the line. But a 7.83 on his previous ride. Wilson out in front as Joan Duru pushed into second, looking for a 6.98 now. Look at this. Snapper starting to do its thing here on day one of the event window. And Joan Duru tucks in, clean barrel. He'll find his way through this one. And there he is, re-emerging. And now he'll go to the turns. Skips the fins out there, but recovers pretty nicely. Driving down the line. An opportunity for a big finish there.
That was a wave that gave them the opportunity towards the end. Wow.
So Julian Wilson had pushed the requirement higher. He had a 4.77 on his last wave. So Joan Duru is actually looking for an 8.57 from this ride to get back in front.
You'd have to say there's an opportunity for that to go excellent. I mean, it wasn't necessarily the barrel, although, again, his technique on the backhand, his tube riding skills are very, very high. Look at how fast the ski is. Look at this from behind it. Again, the technique on the backhand is you're able to speed control so nicely because you can use your bottom and your arm to slow yourself down, and you have that speed control. You can release it and speed up. Again, this is where he stalls it out, and you wonder if he was going to come out, and sure enough, he does. And then, how's this section? The grower. This is what happens at Snapper Rocks, is that this sometimes becomes a bigger wave as it moves down the line, and then tags it there. Nice combination of major moves. The score's in.
For 7.27, Joan Duru narrows the requirement. He needs a 5.34 to get himself ahead of Julian Wilson now. Just over 4 minutes to go. That's plenty of time. Here we go, Joan Duru. So chasing down that 5.34, really fast on that first move, but you could see the backwash hitting that section then as he tried to float that part of the wave, and as a result it was a hard one to stick. Well, here we go, some movement. Ian Gouveia scratching into this one. He's chasing a huge score, a 9.5 to get himself into the lead. Nice first turn, beautiful floating re-entry. Just bouncing, trying to get around the section and find some more green wall to work with, but he's not going to get there. So that'll be his last shot at it, possibly just over a minute to go. Well,
priority will shift.
Joan Duru, he had a look at it, and he's now got that priority. So Joan Duru swoops. Doesn't quite time that first turn to perfection, but he has time to recover down the line. 15 seconds to go, looking for a 5.34. He can still juice that number out of this wave, but he needs a big finish. Throws his board up there once again onto the foam.
That was an interesting last minute.
Doesn't get a look at Joan's wave, so he's just wondering now if Joan did enough. And there's that mistimed first turn we were talking about.
Yeah, it's super critical because that was one of the sections that he needed to really perform well on it.
Is he allowed to look this comfortable as a rookie putts?
Absolutely. He's done all the hard work in the QS, and now this is the cherry on the top for him.